All right, today we're going to set sail into the future of shipping. And our guide? It's the UK government's very own roadmap for a world of autonomous ships.
So I want you to picture something. A super busy port, right? But there are no human crews. Instead, you've got these slick, self-driving ships just gliding into their docks. Robotic cranes are unloading cargo with insane precision, and the whole thing is coordinated by one big, smart system.
Now, this might sound like something straight out of science fiction, but it's not. This is a future the UK government is seriously planning for. It's all laid out in their big strategy document called Maritime 2050.
Okay, so when we throw around a term like autonomous ships, what do we actually mean? Because, it's a phrase that covers a whole lot of ground.
Well, it's really a spectrum. It's not like a simple on-off switch. It's more like a dimmer switch, a sliding scale. You've got everything from ships that just have smart systems to help out the crew, all the way to ships that, well, are the crew. In fact, experts from the Lloyd's Register Foundation have broken this down into 6 levels. And if this sounds familiar, it's because it's a lot like the levels we use for self-driving cars. It starts at AL0, which is, zero autonomy, and it goes all the way up to AL5. And that's the whole shebang, a fully autonomous ship making all its own decisions out on the open sea.
And look, this isn't just about the boats. This whole idea of maritime autonomy is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. That puzzle is called smart shipping. It's about applying this tech-forward thinking to the entire supply chain, from the ship out at sea right down to the smart port it's heading to.
All right, so let's get to the big question. Why? Why go through all this trouble? What's the real motivation behind such a massive technological leap? What are the actual benefits here?
Well, first and foremost, it's about safety. This technology could make the maritime industry a fundamentally safer place for people to work. Think about it. Instead of sending a person into a really dangerous situation, like inspecting a giant ship's hull or working on deck in terrible weather, you can just send a drone or an autonomous boat to do those dull, dirty, and dangerous jobs.
Then, beyond safety, there's a really strong argument for the environment. You could have autonomous systems out there 24/7, monitoring marine ecosystems or keeping an eye on fish farms. They can gather all this data that helps us build a much cleaner, more sustainable industry.
And of course, it's about efficiency. That's the big one for business, right? Smart automated systems all working together, from the ship to the port. That promises to completely streamline global trade. It means moving goods around the world could become faster, cheaper, and way more reliable.
Okay, so the benefits are pretty clear. Safer, cleaner, more efficient. With all that on the table, how exactly is the UK planning to pull this off? How are they going to navigate these new waters and become a world leader?
Well, the absolute cornerstone of their plan is this Maritime 2050 strategy. And you've got to understand, this isn't just some boring policy paper. It's a really detailed roadmap for the future. And what's key is that it was built with a ton of collaboration between the government and industry experts. They wanted to make sure the whole vision was, ambitious, but also actually doable.
So this whole strategy is built around 5 main ideas, 5 key themes. And it's a really complete approach. First, you need a clear vision from the government. Then, you've got to build the right infrastructure, both digital and physical. Third, you obviously have to fund the technology. Fourth, and this is huge, you need to develop the right skills in your workforce for this new era. And finally, and this is super critical, you need to create the right rules, a safe, modern, regulatory system to make it all work.
And what's really important is that the industry is on board. You have key players, folks like Dan Hook from L3ASV, who are saying, yes, this is exactly what we need. They see this strategy as giving the entire sector clear goals so everyone can move forward together with confidence. And this isn't just talk either. The plan includes concrete actions. The government's setting up a Center for Smart Shipping. They're calling it CSmart to be the main point of contact for everything. They're also developing a maritime innovation hub right inside a UK port. And get this, they're building a demonstrator shore control facility. Basically, it's a place where they can test and figure out, in the real world, how to actually operate these high-tech ships from a distance.
But look, a plan this huge isn't just about the tech and the buildings. There's a really profound human side to all of this. And that brings us to a really important question, one that's at the very heart of the maritime world.
Yeah, what about the sailors? What happens to the people, the maritime workforce, in a world full of self-driving ships?
Well, the strategy's answer is that it's about changing the work, not just getting rid of it. The idea is to transition people. You move them away from the jobs that are physically dangerous or just mind-numbingly repetitive, and you create brand new high-skilled jobs for them on shore.
Things like managing entire fleets from these cool new control centers.
So the real goal here is to augment human abilities, to basically give them superpowers. The tech is there to support them, to handle all the routine stuff, and that frees up the humans to focus on what they do best, the high-level, critical thinking that, a machine just can't do.
Okay, so let's talk about the road ahead. What are the big challenges and, of course, the opportunities that are on the horizon?
One of the biggest hurdles is actually the rule book. I mean, how do you write the rules of the road for a technology that's literally being invented as we speak? It's this incredibly tricky balancing act. You have to create new laws, both at home and internationally, that keep everyone safe but don't accidentally kill all the innovation.
And this whole future really depends on 4 key technologies that are all surging forward at the same time. You've got advanced sensors so the ships can see the world around them. You've got massive amounts of data and the tools to make sense of it all. Then there's AI and machine learning to actually make decisions. And finally, robotics to carry out those decisions.
So that brings us to the big question. Can the UK actually pull this off? I mean, this is the nation that gave us the sextant and mastered the steam engine. They have a deep, rich maritime history. And the big bet they're making with this Maritime 2050 strategy is that if they can get the government, the industry, and all the smart innovators in one room, they can tackle these challenges and once again lead the world in shaping the future of the seas.